This is the Christian Music Bro podcast. We have had Kelly here before. Kelly was on the Christian music featured landscape episode at the end of last year. So if you were watching and you're still following my channel to this day, it was at the end of 2024. It was Kelly Alayna, Jordan Blaine, and many other artists. It was a great episode. I recommend checking it out if you're wondering what the future state of Christian music looks like and like just hear what we think about. And then we also did an interview with her in February of 2024. That was a long time ago, Kelly.
Gosh, it doesn't seem that long, but it really was.
About a month not a month, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But Kelly, it's great to see you back on the podcast.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Kelly, can you tell us a little bit about your music background? I know we discussed this a little bit last time we met on the podcast, but just for any new faces or returning faces, I just want to a refresher.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing music my whole life. I have videos of me singing when I'm 3, 4 years old. I started picking out at the piano around 5 or 6 years old. My mom put me in piano lessons, and I did piano all the way through middle school, I believe. Played in church, loved it, and I was in band. I played flute. I did band in college. I traveled all over. I joined a worship team. I got married, joined a worship team in Panama City, Florida, and I met my duo partner that I was a part of for 8 years, Corey. We were part of Corey and Kelly, and we did worship, CCM music, Christian country, all those sorts of things. And then we went our separate ways in 2023, and I started my solo career as Kelly Alayna. And my husband and my family, we moved up here to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I've just been plugged into Nashville and just saying yes to whatever God has for me. I've been writing music myself for about 8 plus 10 years, something like that. And yeah, I just love music. I can't imagine living a life without music, you know?
Right. And you were in Georgia before this, if I remember it, weren't you?
Yes.
How was
Yes,
the
I
move?
was.
How was the move from Georgia to Tennessee? Like, it's not like a massive. I mean, it's kind of a massive move, but it's not. You were only going up a couple of states. But I know someone like Grace Graber who's moved from Oregon to Nashville. But like, how was the move? Like, I know like sometimes like you have younger kids too, and younger kids like, really, are we moving?
Right? No, it was pretty crazy actually. We lived in Georgia for 5 years, and that's actually my hometown. I'm from Hazelhurst, Georgia, born and raised. And so we were there for 5 years, and then moved in December of this past year. My husband actually moved ahead of us the October before that, and it was in the middle of Hurricane Helene that hit us, and like it devastated my town pretty much. There were trees everywhere, so many homes got damaged, and it was a crazy thing. And my husband moved in October, and the kids and I, we were going to wait until the end of the school year. But after all that, God told us, nope, you need to pick up and go, and we did. And the kids started their new school in January of this past January, I guess. And I was worried about that because, yeah, like you said, little kids, you know, they have established their friend group, and they're comfortable. And my family was in Georgia, and it was just definitely plucking us out of our comfort zone. But I prayed that God would show up, especially in their lives, and he did. They've made friends. They've thrived in their school. My daughter, she's going to 8th grade this upcoming year, and that's like such an influential age, especially when you take them and move them to a new situation and environment. But she is thriving with music and learning new instruments. My little boy, I call him a playground evangelist. Like literally, he's going to 3rd grade this coming year, and he walks around school and he'll ask the other kids, do they know Jesus? And he'll just let them know his story. So I've been so proud of them.
Kids are really special. I don't have any kids, but I used to work with kids, and like I was a camp counselor. I think I brought it up on this podcast once or twice. But kids are just a great thing, and like life should. I feel like a lot of people, if you have kids, the life should be involved with your loved ones. So like your kids and your husband or wife. So I think that's really important. Like family is really important, especially in a community like this, because sometimes, like for example, for this podcast, like it does get tough sometimes, and it's just good to have like family to rely around. Like when the seasons get tough and hard, and it's just good that
For
you have
sure.
a big support with your kids and husband.
I'm so thankful for that. I have such a good support system. Between them, my husband and my kids, they'll go, if I'm singing somewhere, they'll come along and they won't complain. They love it so much. And even my family back home in Georgia, if my husband and I need to travel somewhere, my mom, my grandparents, they step up and they're like, yeah, we'll keep the kids and the dog, whatever you need. So having a support system is very important.
It's great. And if you don't have a support system, sorry, we're taking away from your interview time, but I just wanted to make a public service announcement. So sorry. But
No,
if
you're
you don't have a
good.
support system, try to get involved in some community, even if it's a quilting community, or even if it's like a coffee community. If you go to a coffee shop that's a big community, maybe introduce yourself to a group of coffee. Just try to get some support
Yeah.
system. You're not alone in this world.
Men's group in church even.
Yeah, even like church was going to be another example. But you're not alone in this world. There's always people to talk to. You might have to introduce yourself at start, and that might be a little nerve wracking, but it gets better. Trust me. You just released a new song, "Purpose," within the last few months. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and what kind of sparked the idea of it?
Listen, I love the song so much. I've had it for, gosh, over half a year now, and I haven't gotten tired of it. God really blessed me with this song. I wrote it August of last year, or started writing it, and it really just came out of nowhere. Like, it's not my normal style. I'm usually country, based or whatever, but this pop and the rap that was included with it with this phenomenal artist, Jordan Gatewood, he goes by the name of Jay Woods. It's just amazing. And I grew up listening to pop and some hip hop, believe it or not, and R&B, and I loved it. So it's taken me back to my roots doing this song. But I was also a competitive sports player, and I always needed that anthem song to just get me hyped up for before a game. And I really feel like that's what Purpose does. It really hypes up believers because we step out in faith sometimes and we pursue God's calling on our lives, but the world has a fine way of just beating us down sometimes. And it's really frustrating. And a lot of times, me, myself, I'm like, God, you called me to do this. Why is it so hard? Why am I hitting these walls? And what do I need to do? Did I hear you right? That sort of thing. And really, that's what Purpose is about. God gives us these lessons to help us learn how to fulfill and to walk in his calling. And don't get discouraged. You can always reach out to God, and you were created for this moment. Fear is a liar, all the things. So this is really just a pump up song to help other believers get encouraged and re-energize them.
And everyone, you should add it up to your pump up mix. It's a really good song. I recommend it.
Thank
I've
you
been,
so much.
I've been following Kelly's journey a lot, especially since the last time we met her on this podcast, like we said in February. So she's been putting out a lot of singles. She's did a worship cover album that if we have time, we'll touch base on that. But you did a big worship cover album earlier, like in March of last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And then she released a song, "Take Me Back to Church." When Kelly was writing the song, me and Kelly kind of kept touch with it. She was showing me some ideas she had, so I recommend checking out that song. Flash forward, you just released "Purpose." Do you have any other music planning to come out this year you can talk about? If not, I'll just back off. Nope.
No, I do. I love talking about it. I've got a single that I wrote several weeks ago, and it's called Detour. And I'm actually recording vocals for that tomorrow with Walter Hollowell. He's a phenomenal producer. I love working with him. I will put ideas out. I'll create my own demos, and I'll give it to him, and I'll say, hey, this is what I want. And I want it to sound like, for example, a mixture between Toby Mac and Taylor Swift, or whatever it is, and he'll nail it every time. But yeah, I've got that's recording in the works. It'll be released probably sometime this fall. And then I've had kind of a high demand for a hymn album. I grew up on hymns, a small little Southern Baptist church, so I know pretty much all of them. And I do have some favorites. And so just like my worship piano cover album that I put out, I want to do another one, but more hymn based. And that'll be coming out soon whenever I start working on that. But I've done 3 so far, so I'm excited about that project.
What have you learned during the season, spiritually, creatively, or personally? Have you learned anything in that time?
Really just trying to hear God's voice, because a lot of times the world's noise can be way louder than God. He speaks in a still small voice. And also a lot of times we like to question, God, is this really you talking, or are these my own thoughts? And the way I like to distinguish it is sometimes I won't think like that, or I'll get an idea that just popped out of nowhere, and I'm like, God, is that you? But there was a season earlier this spring, I think, where I didn't really have anything booked out. Like my TikTok live ministry with my husband, we love it. We go live this past week we went live every night, and I think we're going to try to do that at least an hour every night. I know it's late for the Eastern time zone people. We try to do it after our kids are in bed, so we don't miss out on, any family time or that sort of thing. But it's crazy. Like lately, we've had 400 to 500 viewers every time we've gone live, and that just blows my mind that people are like listening to worship or sending in prayer requests, or we talk about our day, that sort of thing. I love that. But I prayed one day. I said, God, I love my online ministry that we have going on, but if you want me to do this, like I need to be out live and in person. And so I prayed that prayer, and I said, God, please provide opportunities. And man, my summer, it took off. Like I was doing songwriters rounds. I play at the Row in downtown Nashville every Saturday right now from 3 to 4. But I'm just thankful. Like it's just a season of saying yes. Whatever God sends my way, I say yes. And I step out in faith, no matter if I'm intimidated or nervous or whatever it may be. That's the only way you can grow in your calling or in your purpose is to say yes.
And I just want to say, ad lib, I like your hat collection behind you. So.
Ooh, thank you. Listen, I'm in my ball cap era. So it used to be like the country hats, but now the ball caps are so easy, especially if you wake up and you're having a bad hair day or, whatever. They're just easy just to throw on. So I've started my collection. Thank you.
I have a hat collection too. I have like 25 hats or something.
Oh gosh. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there slowly.
But it's just very cool. And what do you say to a younger version of yourself in the music industry? Like, do you have like any wisdom like that you would tell your younger self, or you would share with someone that wants to get started in the music industry?
You know what? That is a good question. What I would say is stay true to yourself. Research everything. Always Google, Google people, Google companies, Google playlists. Like really, the way I got to where I was is I would Google radio stations or, just trying to find out information. Learn how to do so many things by yourself, because if you can be self-dependent on everything, putting out your own video, your graphics, learning how radio works, if you can build relations with radio stations, and stay in the Word, because there's so many things that can come your way that a lot of times this is the enemy talking. And if you don't know your scripture, you don't have anything to fire back at those thoughts in your head. But stay grounded. The biggest thing is to learn how to be self-dependent, because you don't necessarily need a record label these days. Independent artists are on the rise, and really invest in things like TikTok or, build your community, build your following, and let that kind of speak for itself. And it is a slow process. You're not going to have instant success, and you can't get discouraged, and you will have the highs and the lows. Like I experience a valley at least 2 to 3 times a week, and my husband has to talk me off the ledge. And I'm like, this is it. This is the day that I go apply at McDonald's. I can't, because I do this full time, and you can get scared when you're dependent on, okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen this week. I put my music out, nobody likes it. I'm terrible at this. Those thoughts will bombard you if you're not just grounded in the Word, or you have your village to help pray for you or encourage you or whatever it may be. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's some advice I would definitely tell my younger self or any other artist that's looking to get into the industry.
I think part of that goes, I like that advice, and part of it is find a community, like find a church, find a coffee shop group or everything. Find your community, and if you build a community, they can help you in your ministry as well.
Yes, and also if you're going, the artist or even the songwriter side of things, really connecting with those other artists and songwriters that are going through the same thing, because a lot of the feelings that you're having is not just you. Like everybody else is feeling the same thing. And so if you're able to bounce that off of each other, you'll definitely feel better about yourself.
What's next for you? We kind of talked a little bit about the project side of it, that you're having a new song coming out and you want to make a hymn album. Do you have like any tours or dreams you hope to chase in the next year or so?
Man, I would like, I don't know. I'm always nervous about tours. Like I would love to go on tour. I would really love to open for Crowder. Like I'm putting that out there, and I'm praying that if that's something God wants to happen, that it'll happen. Even if it's just for a small show. There's not a small show for Crowder, but you know what I mean. I am just, like I said, just saying yes to whatever God sends my way. I don't know what that looks like, and I'm just grateful for every day. I'm grateful for every opportunity that comes my way. So we'll see.
I went out to Acoustic Storytime with Jason Gray. That was a really cool experience. If you ever check that out.
That's awesome. I've heard Jason Gray stuff on, I think, what is it, The Message
Yeah,
or Sirius, one of those, where he has those, story time coffee
yeah. I
acoustic.
was at one of those recordings.
I love those. Those are so interesting to me.
Yeah, it's really cool. What's a worship song you wish you wrote? I'm just curious. Like everyone has a favorite worship song, and I know
Yeah.
you did a worship piano album. I was just wondering if there's a favorite one you wish you wrote,
Yeah.
or if you don't know if it's not one you wish you wrote, what is one you wish you? I don't know how to say that. Performed it, I guess.
No, I definitely wish I wrote "I Speak Jesus," Charity Gale, because I love that one, and that I always have to do that one every TikTok live, especially when there's a lot of prayer requests flooding in as we're doing this. I will sing that song, and in between the verses, I will just pray over
Mhm.
everybody in the chat, everybody that has brought a worship, and you could feel the Holy Spirit even through the screen. Like I always get tingled or something, when I know the Holy Spirit's working. And so that song is just so powerful because you're literally speaking Jesus over every situation and circumstance. And that's a great song.
It is a good song, and my personal one. I'm just going off like what you said. I like "Abandoned" by Benjamin William Hastings.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. I like that one.
That's a good one. And speaking of Charity Gale and Benjamin William Hastings, they are going on tour together, so check out that tour. I'm just posting in some Christian news in here for fun too in the middle of it because it just comes relevant to what we were talking about. So go check out that tour. I don't know the dates. I know it's only like 6 shows, but Josh Baldwin's going to be out there too, I think. And I think Phil Wickham was the other name, if I'm not mistaken. It's like the Joy FM Happy Tour or whatever.
That's awesome.
I'd like to give you the floor to speak about anything. I know there's a lot of things that have changed in your life recently without that, but we talked about a lot of those. Is there anything I missed that has, since we met back in 2024, that you want to add that we haven't talked about?
No, I guess really just if you are someone who has been reserved, or you think just like my song Purpose, if you think you're doing what God's called you to do, but you feel something else in your heart. Maybe it's a dream, maybe it's something that you're scared to do. Don't be scared because you will never be truly satisfied. You will never receive all 100% blessings if you stay in your comfort zone. Because when I was in my duo, Corey and Kelly, it was great. Like we did exactly what God has called us to do in that season, and I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be called to do. And so whenever we separated, I was devastated. And I was like, God, where do I go? And I wrote a song about it. Where do I go from here? But now, 2 years into it, I realized that God had so much more that I didn't even know. Like I thought I was good, but this has changed me and turned me into a different person. And I'm more bold and I'm able to step out and pray over people or speak, things that I was nervous about. I was okay with just staying and letting her lead. But now that I'm able to fully depend on God because I have nobody else to lean on to, it's changed my life. So if you're scared, if you haven't stepped outside of your comfort zone, but that you're supposed to, do it. Do it now.
Kelly, it was nice to sit down with you again with the new improved show. I'm excited to see what's next in your life. That your new chapter has been exciting since like we met last time too. So
Yeah. I'm excited about you. You got a lot happening too. You're rocking it over there.
I feel like we both are like newer in this industry now. Like come back, flash forward like a year later, like a lot has changed for both of us in the past year. But this was more about you than me, so we're not going to talk about mine. Thank you for joining again today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And remember, for those who are watching this podcast, to like, follow, and subscribe to the channel. Also, follow Kelly's channel. We'll be posting a lot of reels of this interview with Kelly on our social media page, so you can find that when she gets tagged, you can follow her there. You can also just look her up as Kelly Alayna Music, and check her TikTok lives out. I promise you, I won't fall asleep during one again. But
I mean, some
but
people do. I like to think that we're just singing people to sleep. So
I mean, who needs Bob Ross when you have Kelly Alayna? Like,
there you go. I don't know if that's a compliment or a hate, but I'll take it.